Coach more, manage less. There's a mistake I see a lot of business owners and managers make. They think being a good leader means having all the answers. An employee comes to them with a problem and they solve it. Someone doesn't know what to do and they tell them. Something goes wrong and they jump in and fix it. And at first, that feels like good leadership. But there's a problem. If you're always the one providing the answers, eventually you become the answer to everything. And that's not leadership. That's dependency. Welcome back to Extraordinary Success. Over the last several episodes, we've been talking about how you build a business that can grow beyond you. We talked about building a company that doesn't need you, developing leaders at every level, creating scoreboards and KPIs, building compensation around the right behaviors, creating accountability without micromanagement. And last week, we talked about hiring for character first and training skills second. But once you have the right people, there's another responsibility you have as a leader. You have to develop them, and that's where coaching comes in. Managing and coaching are not the same thing. Managing is necessary. There are deadlines. There are expectations. There are numbers that have to be hit. There are standards that have to be followed. But managing tends to focus on the task in front of us. Coaching focuses on developing the person who will handle the next 100 tasks. That's a very different mindset. When someone came into my office at my fire and security company with a problem, it would have been easy for me to simply tell them what to do. And believe me, sometimes I did. It's faster. You already know the answer. You can probably solve the problem in 5 minutes. But every time you immediately give someone the answer, you potentially take away an opportunity for that person to learn how to find the answer themselves. So instead of immediately solving the problem, start asking questions. What do you think we should do? What are our options? What would you do if I wasn't here? What do you think the consequences of that decision could be? Now you're doing something much more valuable than solving today's problem. You're teaching someone how to think. Your job isn't to create followers. As your company grows, your job as a leader has to change. You can't make every decision. You can't approve everything. You can't be involved in every conversation. If you try, eventually you become the bottleneck. So your job isn't to create people who are really good at following your instructions. Your job is to create people who can make good decisions without your instructions. That's what coaching does. You're teaching people how you think. You're helping them understand the standards. You're giving them enough room to make decisions. And yes, sometimes they're going to make a different decision than you would have made. That's okay. The question isn't always, did they do exactly what I would have done? The better question is, did they make a reasonable decision based on the information and standards they had? Because if every decision has to be exactly the decision you would have made, you haven't really delegated anything. People need room to own the result. Ownership doesn't happen because you tell someone, I want you to take ownership. You have to actually give them something to own. That means giving people responsibility and then resisting the temptation to constantly take it back. And this can be difficult for entrepreneurs. We're used to solving problems. That's probably part of what made us successful in the first place. We see something wrong and we fix it. But as the organization gets bigger, that strength can actually become a weakness. Because every time you jump in and take over, you're sending an unintended message. When things get difficult, I'll handle it. Do that enough times, and eventually people stop trying to figure things out. They just bring the problem to you. That's how owners accidentally create organizations that can't function without them. Coach in private. There's another part of coaching that I think is extremely important. When somebody makes a mistake, especially a leader, correct them privately. You don't develop people by embarrassing them. You don't build confidence by tearing someone down in front of their team. If something needs to be corrected, have the conversation. Be clear, be direct. Explain what happened, why it matters, and what needs to change. But do it in a way that develops the person rather than simply making sure they know you're unhappy. Because the goal of accountability shouldn't be punishment. The goal should be improvement. Develop the person you'll need tomorrow. One of the biggest lessons I learned while building my fire and security company was that you can't wait until you need leaders to start developing leaders. You have to develop them before you need them. As the company grows, the people around you have to grow too. Someone who manages 5 people today may need to manage 20 tomorrow. Someone making small decisions today may eventually be responsible for decisions involving millions of dollars. That doesn't happen overnight. It happens through hundreds of small coaching moments. A question, a conversation, a mistake, feedback, another opportunity, more responsibility. That's how people grow. And when you do that consistently, something pretty incredible starts happening. People stop coming to you with problems and start coming to you with solutions. Instead of saying, "What should I do?" they say, "Here's what happened, here are the options, here's what I think we should do, and here's why." That's when you know you're developing leaders. Think about somebody you've worked with who grew significantly while working for you. Maybe when they first started, they needed direction on almost everything. But over time, you stopped giving them every answer. You challenged them. You asked questions. You let them make decisions. You allowed them to make some mistakes. And eventually, you watched them become someone who could handle things that they couldn't have handled a few years earlier. That's one of the most rewarding parts of building a company. Yes, you build revenue. Yes, you build profits. Yes, you build systems. But if you do it right, you also build people. And some of those people will eventually become leaders who build other leaders. That's how an organization really scales. The Builder's Challenge. So here's your Builder's Challenge for this week. The next time someone comes to you with a problem, don't immediately give them the answer. Ask them, "What do you think we should do?" Let them think. Let them work through it. Coach them if they need help, but resist the urge to solve it for them. Because every problem you solve for someone makes you a little more necessary. Every problem you teach someone to solve makes your organization a little stronger. Great leaders don't build organizations full of people who need them. They build organizations full of people who have learned how to lead without them. Coach more, manage less. And if you found value in this episode, please like, subscribe, and share it with someone you think might find it helpful. That's how we continue getting these ideas in front of more business owners and leaders who are trying to build something bigger than themselves. And most importantly, keep building something extraordinary. I'll see you next week on Extraordinary Success.